All right.
Are Eugenio and Alex about to get into a tizzy?
Yes. How did you know?
Because I saw a start of it yesterday and you told me.
That is true. That is true. Gotta roll up my sleeves for this one. Oh boy. All right. So I was. Let me scroll down. I have some edits to look through. Uh. Oh. Okay. Yep. Actually, yep. Okay. That makes sense. And I was down here. So this is the giant crossover project I've been writing on, of taking a whole bunch of the Fire Emblem fics and stuff that various authors have written. One of which is here in the chat with me right now, being Red X Eagle. You probably know him well enough if you're
Uh,
here.
hello.
And so, taking all these characters together, which first and foremost is a little daunting, just because people, when you directly have contact with the author and you're like, hey, I want to use your person for such and such, or figuring out if you're portraying them correctly, it can be a little tricky because a lot of times with fan fiction is people give their own spin on characters. They're like, well, I think they interact this way or whichever way. And here you have very particular responses that are expected, um, especially if they're in direct contact with you. And that's what I'm really trying to nail down. Let me put Discord away. There we go.
Yes, scored.
Yes, Cord. Um, I didn't write this part. Yep, I like that. That's Alex's part. And then Eugenio pressed on, quickening his pace, conversation. Oh yeah, I did write that part. Duh. Alright. He only managed to a few more paces before a heavy hand clamped down on his shoulder. Let's go. Again, I would like. I'll explain something. Here, I almost said like could feel, and you don't want to write something like that because it's more passive language. You want to
Well,
be more direct. So instead of saying could feel, like Eugenia have felt, Alex's warm breath down his neck. The hair rose. As he wrenched away from its grip, whirling around to face him. And don't feel bad too if you have like dialogue heavy sections either, where it's like you feel like you're not hitting your descriptive setting. A lot of this was established prior in this chapter, and they just gone through a whole segment of like chase, and now they need like to decompress and express themselves and
uh,
what they're trying to do.
what Arcanea timeline are they in right now?
They don't know.
Oh, do you know
Yes.
which one is it?
This one, it is a It's in my notes. It's inconsequential, really. Like they don't stay here long.
Ah,
Like they're involved at the Mila tree, and there's no action happening. It's like it's basically a post-awakening world where everything's been resolved.
fair enough.
We're gonna get to the more exciting worlds later on. One of which, no, not gonna say that. Not gonna say that.
By all means, say it.
No,
It's only me.
I'm gonna pop out the chat so I can actually see that. Doop. Okay. Booyah. Yeah, is we're probably the end game for this is we're probably gonna go back to Eugenio's version of Fodland for the final face-off. But yeah, that's gonna be much different and tie and kind of wrap up his storyline and what he wants to do, which would be kind of fun.
Wrap up his storyline so Kavik doesn't need to go back to it.
Exactly.
He's free now.
Yes. You are liberated from your story. Of course, with edits and working with them along the way to make sure it feels appropriate. Because that's the goal here, is you want people to be happy with the product. Especially you as the author.
Damn, nothing's ever gonna be just like that first playthrough of Elden Ring.
I know, it's the luster and allure of, like, my first time, and, like...
Well, that just goes doubly so for this game for some reason. Like, I can play it and enjoy myself, but it's like nothing compared to like when I was first playing it, I was discovering new shit all the time.
I know. Remember, if you only have an action tag, it is period followed by period, no comma. Only if you have a dialogue tag.
Fuck. I always get that.
I know, it took me a while to get it, like, ingrained into my soul.
I wouldn't worry too much about it because honestly, no one's gonna call you out on it, but still.
Well, when I'm trying to, like, think, like, long term, like, okay, I want to do, like, actual publishing at some point with, like, books. I want to make sure that I have
Oh, yeah.
those kind of skills set in place before an editor just rips through my butt. Oh, hello, Cross. Forgot the Twitch password. Oh, well, I'm glad you made it. Yeah, so it's just me trying to make sure when edits are done on my work, whether it be me or someone else, that it's less focused on technical stuff and it can be more acutely looked at, like, plot-centric kind of devices being handled. Because when you have somebody, like, beta or edit your work, the amount of attention and energy somebody puts into it is limited, like with anything else. And if they're caught up on trying to fix your grammatical and syntax errors, they're not going to be able to get to the greater story usually, or at least what I find for myself and other betas that I've talked to, is that's usually the first thing that comes up before you can get to that deeper stuff, which can make betaing kind of difficult when somebody asks you for story help, but you left like 70 suggestions on things that need to be changed around. It's like, dude, I looked through your story, but I read it purely for grammatical and syntactical stuff, so now it just makes sense structurally. I haven't even looked at what's like on the meat because we were so busy fixing the skeleton. So that's just something to keep in mind and something to work on as well. Whether you're a beta and figuring out what you're looking for, or as a writer and trying to be more conscious and giving your work a look through beforehand by yourself before you pass it on to somebody. Yeah, and usually going through like the reader's perspective before you beta it is a great idea. Is if I try to beta something, I try to read through one time, just read through, don't make any corrections, just even read some parts aloud and be like, okay, as a reader, what do I want to do here? How am I enjoying this? What kind of content am I interacting with? And then after that, I look at it with a much more analytical eye and be like, all right, I'm not even going to really read it. I'm looking at it sentence by sentence. Like, does it just make sense grammatically, syntax? How does it flow? How's the word choice? Is there like repetition happening? And then third and like further reads are usually going to be like, okay, I'm going to reference this back to previous material. If it's a longer story, is there like continuity errors that are cropping up? Is somebody bringing up a MacGuffin? Do things feel forced? Like, etc. But yeah, those are things I like to think about, or just like good tips. I would say. Again, it's not perfect, and everybody has their own kind of style, but those are just good things to keep in mind. I like to think. Would you agree, Red?
Sorry, I was too busy getting my fucking asshole penetrated. What?
Language. Come on, buddy.
No, literally, I got backstabbed.
Okay. So continuing with this dialogue, so Eugenia says, I know this is the Mila tree, and that Arcanea is east. Eugenia pointed off into a bramble of trees. I'm not sure. Wait, let's go swath of trees, so I don't need an escort. Yeah, Eugenia is pretty pissed. He's been uprooted from his version of Fodland as Big Bad Scary Man came down and terrorized them.
You got a happy ending for Eugenio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an ending in mind. It's not bad. It's good depending on your perspective. No, that's one of the things too, is like dealing with like multiversal scaling threats is like tying everything together can be a little tricky. Man, that's part of the the fun of it, I think. It's workshopping it. Don't worry.
They're just lucky the big bad himself isn't involved. At least not really. Need like 3 different fucking draconic bloodlines in order. No, 4. 4 different draconic bloodlines to deal with that shit. He only got 1, well, 2 right now.
A little bit. Did I use that right? Yeah. I'll throw in a kid.
Yeah, I really got. I've come to the conclusion I don't have a lot to say about Avatar.
Realize or realize? I do with the Z.
Oh, are they talking about?
Yeah. So I go here. Yeah. Oxford says Z, and that's what I've been taught. Again, it might be different in certain European dialects, but at least for American English, and it looks like British English, it's Z. So yeah. No, you're fine. Here we go.
my god. Bonk. You know what this reminds me of? Storm, you know what this
Yeah.
reminds me of?
What?
Khalees been seen in Al Jalani, Westerland News. I heard she. I've had enough of your snide insinuations. I've had enough of your disingenuous assertions. I've had enough of your tabloid journalism.
That's great.
Oh shit, Alex gave him the Iron Fist. Fuck.
Oh
Must have really
yeah.
pissed him off.
He's already on edge, like being transported across dimensions. He's like, I ain't wasting any time. Just bonk. Like,
Your dinner will be like, coming from this knife who looks like he's had a silver spoon throughout his entire life. Alex flashes back to that time he got brutally murdered.
just Vietnam flashbacks in his head, and he's like, nah. It's like the Steve Carell meme from The Office where he just like whispers no.
We all need a little bonking in our lives.
I feel like that's a very appropriate Alex response.
I have no idea who the fuck that is. It worked because he got isekai before Three Houses came out.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
There's your edits.
Indeed. It is helpful. All right.
Ow.
I do use dialogue tags, just intermittently. If I go back here,
Tell them go fuck themselves.
said, countered, whispered. That's a verbal one. Piped up. Asked. Yeah. I mix and match. I feel like it gives me decent word variety. And here, since I'm not taking explicit paragraphs to describe what they're doing, because I don't have a lot to say with that, I'm just intermixing it with their dialogue.
Pretty much. That's what I do.
Same reason why you wouldn't have like them talk a whole bunch during combat. You're just kind of writing stuff. And if you do have somebody interject, it'd be like, "Oh, I'll get you," he said, and then they continue fighting or something. I feel like it works a little bit better sometimes. Or if you want it paired with a specific action, like unsheathing your blade and saying, "You killed my father, prepare to die," or whatever you want to put down. Yeah, of course. No.
voice is literally that fucking family meme.
A little bit.
Sahar Ashmati's strong, but he isn't stronger than family. I'm gonna go ahead and take a shower, and I'll be back for when we do the podcast.
Awesome.
See you later.
All right. Whoa. That is quite the cacophony. Impressive. Welcome in. Hi there. Just working on a little project. It's a crossover project that me with a few other authors, fiction projects that we've managed to make something non-canon and just kind of fun for people on the server to check out, as well as help complete one of the person's character arcs within their story that they couldn't end up completing. So I have been taking over the reins and working on this project of getting a bunch of characters from various worlds to talk and collaborate, although it is pulling teeth with them, so to speak. Right now I just finished up a small dialogue section, getting the walk back to camp and some of Eugenio's observations. Open up your stream. Painting colors of a snake. I don't know about that. That sounds cool though. Yeah. How do I want to describe this Gambison? that there. I'm gonna have to reread through all this dialogue too, just to see if it actually makes sense. All right, so they picked up off. They were cooking. Okay, so that's what we're gonna focus on. Coming back into camp is aromas and how it differs from their general surroundings. So I don't remember Sam being a very good cook. Oh my gosh, terrible. uh yeah, I'm trying to remember from Rigged. Like, see, this is the good news. That's sick. This is what it's nice with having the author on, like, on call. Is just you're like, hey, do they do this? I'll wait for a response. I can go back and change it. Sight? Really? No, not treetops, canopy. Could use a stronger analogy. I could use something like that. I could probably polish that later. I'm not that fast. I've been going back and forth between other things typing. Oh man. It just happens. Stuff. The writing be like that. No, that would be a different subject, so I need to change paragraphs. Right? No, that was good. All right. Now let's do Anyone else? There's probably people in the Discord right now working. We have a writing sprints, and then there's also a other writing VC that people frequently work in. Um, Crossroads might be, or he might just be soaking in the information. I don't know. I also find it nice to work alongside other people. That's why I like writing sprints. We use a Sprinto bot. Just because knowing other people are trying to be productive helps inspire me. And yeah, doing two things at the same time can be kind of tricky. I don't know. To each their own. And it takes practice too. Like, if your attention span isn't really good at jumping in between multiple projects, it can be kind of tricky. Me, I work as a teacher, so I'm used to doing frequent projects at the same time. So this is like nothing new to me. Like, like I've had to hold like full on conversations while like typing up essays or reviews or what have you. Yeah. Which reminds me, later in the day, I have to do curriculum building. Oh my gosh, that is way less exciting than this, but I digress. I tried, but when I look at a doc, I only hate half tension. Yeah. One of the best ways I feel like if you lack focus is like a lot of people I know listen to music while they write. So I usually find like a YouTube playlist or something of some kind of like focused music. Like one of my preferences is like synthwave or like cafe jazz even, or even like depending on like what I'm writing to is like if I'm writing something like really intense like horror inspired or like battle scene, like I'll listen to like Doom soundtrack is another one of my favorites that I really like to just like crank up and just go to town, and you can just really zero in on that kind of that atmosphere that you're building and feel enveloped in it. I really like that. But some people other too require just like absolute silence, and I understand that as well. um, Especially if you're trying to sound out the dialogue that you're talking. Like here they're saying like just finishing a snack. Like again you're like chewing and stuff, so it doesn't come out as like proper syntax. It sounds muddy because it's supposed to be. um, yeah, yeah, playing some music while you work on something that's relevant to what you're doing. It can help inspire you or remind you of the characters. Those are called mnemonic devices. Let me see if I can put that in chat. Mnemonic devices are basically phrases we tell ourselves that help us remember certain things. It's like people saying PEMDAS for mathematical equations and like which order of operations you go in. Same thing can be used, has been shown in studies with music, is if you practice something while listening to certain types of music and you listen to that again, that is going to evoke memories that are linked to back to what you were looking at. Yeah, language barrier, absolutely. Again, anybody that writes in their non-native language, you have my absolute respect. It's difficult. Like, you don't want to look at me like type in Spanish because, like, even though I can like speak it and stuff, I'm not gonna write a story in it. It's too much effort on my part to feel like I would produce something of quality, and I just don't have the experience that way. Um, uh, Damn it! Spell it correctly. English is very bendable. There's so much you can do with it. As I think that in part has to do with it being a super convoluted language with all the exceptions it has built into it. Is you can get away with a lot of different things, and you see that a lot when present in fiction writing or nonfiction writing, um, like just stories in general and how people like choose to phrase things or choose how they want to edit. It's really kind of cool. All right, so in this hour in between talking and stuff, how many words did I get down? He's writing pretty slow. It's still about 1,000 words. I'll take it. I'll take it. Not too shabby. 1,100 words in an hour while being suitably distracted. Oh, it's not too bad. All right. Well, looking at my time. Yes. And I've taken a few other language classes too. I'm certified to teach English as a second language as well for people that are non-native speakers. So I've taken German, Mandarin, and Japanese as well as languages, and a lot more rules, especially in those Eastern languages. Um, just with how like you format things, but there's also a lot of stuff that they remove. Like with Mandarin, there's no tense in a lot of the characters and how you structure. It's just how you structure your sentence, and what comes first is how you determine if it's past, present, or future, which I think is, coming from someone who's used to European languages, I think that's goofy as hell. And like, how do you manage? But over there, it makes sense. And having a language where you have like past, present, and like future conjugated verbs, um, is like the norm to me. Even with people that speak English that like look at European centric languages, when you have female and male denoted like subjects. So Spanish is a huge component of this. Is like you wouldn't say la agua, you'd say el agua, which is kind of a weird exception because el is masculine, la is feminine. So it's like la lampara is a lamp, but it's feminine. You don't say a lampara. It's just not how you say it. And that goes same if like, so you're saying like the lamp. So same way if you want to say a lamp, you'd say una lampara, not un lampara, because that's not correct. Again, it's one of those things where they'll know what you're talking about, but it's not necessarily the right way to say it. It's like if somebody heard it, they'll kind of laugh at you and be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like people that get the wrong slang when they want to talk with somebody, and they're just like, oh, you're trying to imitate us. and get that down where it doesn't quite work. Um, yeah, Spanish has gender rules, so does Italian. Um, Portuguese, I'm not as familiar with. It's quite a bit different. Um, yeah. There's also like things like Catalan, which is like a mix between like Spanish and French. I, yeah. Again, they've just had those things ingrained in the language for a long time, and then they have also like neutral words as too. So it's kind of goofy. Um, yeah, and people don't think. I think the worst verb conjugation has to be English, especially with like some of our words that are like really similar, or they don't follow any like concrete structure, because English is the Frankenstein of languages when it comes to everything we borrow from other languages. And even if we don't realize it, like a common word be like rendezvous. Rendezvous, it means a place to meet, and I would say it's uncommonly used in English, but if you say that, they'll know what they mean. That's a French word, though. We just use it as is. Like, like what? Like, come on. Like, we don't even change it. And that usually goes back to its Latin base as well. A lot of core words can be traced back to Latin, and you can see like one of the more common words is compute. I think it's like computed there, which just means to like process, and that evolves up to computer, which makes sense because it processes a whole bunch of things. It's really cool. Yeah, the closest language to English actually is Dutch. Dutch is the most similar in its rules and pronunciation, and then comes German and all those other Germanic languages as well. Um, yeah, which kind of funny because you'd think Welsh would be the closest, but it's not. Um, I always make fun of Welsh too, just because like all it's got to offer us is like consonants. Um, and I'm kidding, of course, but yeah, no, language is super fun. Um, Although I'm looking at our time, it's 11 o'clock for me a.m. Being on one side of the world. The purple cursor. That's somebody else on the document. I think they just left it open. So the other authors that I have talked with, the characters that I'm using from them, I give them access to the doc to leave comments about, hey, like I think they would have said this, or you missed this kind of information. So it really just helps me, like, hey, they're kind of like a pseudo beta for me as I write the story, so they can go up and fix up anything that I may have missed about their character. Even though I do try to be as accurate as possible. Yeah, probably Kavik.
What?
I just, again, I should be anonymous. Oh, yep, anonymous dumb octopus. That's I haven't seen that one before.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Red. Welcome back. Are you ready
Bob's
for?
I think Bob has a hangover.
I think he does too. So once we're done with the podcast, we have to go make fun of his weaker bloodline, and shame him, right?
It Kenna gif J stabs jaw jam skies shut back weeks. Your woe is good.
What?
That's what Bob said yesterday at around
Oh
11 p.m.
yeah, like I. Part of me is like, even completely shit faced out of his mind, I'm pretty sure he can form a full sentence. His writing skills are just that deeply embedded. Um, yeah.
I don't know about you, but I can't understand a single word he said at this point.
I didn't either. I told him he should stop drinking. At least that night. If you can't form full sentences, like that's your cutoff.
It looks like he drank for like an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah. Anonymous writer. That's like the holy grail of like anonymous people that come on your document. All these random sea critters and animals coming in to help you, and then you have the one writer person coming in to save the
The
day.
one that sucks, right, is that I only really have like thoughts on the last Airbender because I fucking hate Korra.
Oh, this is gonna be a fun conversation with you and Rosie.
I know.
Why do you hate it so much? No, save that for later. Save that for later.
It's hard for me to say.
Oh, we're gonna try to weasel the words out of you. Trust me.
It looks like none of us can come up with world building notes.
Hey, I did like half the document myself, and I made it.
Yeah.
I was hoping somebody else would do that section.
Don't worry. I'm pretty sure most of us have thoughts on that that can be summed up more than just on a document.
Oh, I'm sure. We'll ramble for quite a bit. Anyways, I'm gonna cut off the stream here. I am here on Sundays, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can check out our other streamers. We have 2 people on Wednesday, one of which is Red X Eagle. He usually streams games. Bob is usually in the evening time on Wednesdays. He is doing his writing section, much like I am at myself. He's quite a bit faster at writing. He just gets the words out really quick. And then Thursdays, Rosie goes over her original content writing and editing, which is really awesome. She usually takes about 2 hours or so to go in depth to writing, fixing continuity errors, and explaining her process for original writing. So I highly recommend checking that out. It's awesome. That's usually around. I posted the schedule early. The schedule's all on Twitch. It should be our Twitch streaming schedule, so you can check it out there. Everything is as is. Anyways, thank you for joining me. I've really enjoyed this. It's a great motivator too for me to get on and just get some words down. I try to one of my goals is I want to get 1,000 words done per day. Just because I'm thinking hey, if I can do that within an hour, either in the morning before work, after I work out, and I find usually after workout's nice because I exercise my body, and I get to exercise my mind, do that kind of thing. But yeah, it's awesome. I really like it, and then give me your stories, Drew. I love reading through other people's stuff and seeing what people cook up and things tomorrow. All right, see you later.